Barack Obama had some harsh words for President Trump, but the president fired back in a big way. Is this the beginning of Obamagate? German intelligence officials believe China tried to downplay the threat of coronavirus to the World Health Organization. And in this age of government lockdowns, are we now living in a Big Brother world? All that and more. I'm Bobby Eberle. This is a 13-minute news hour.
God bless the United States of America.
All right, friends, welcome to the show. Happy Monday. I hope you had a great weekend. I want to thank you for tuning in to the Saturday live stream because it was a blast. Great questions from all of you. Thanks to our special guest, Dan Gaynor from the Media Research Center. We had a great discussion on media bias, and we're definitely going to do it again. But we're going to start right now with Barack Obama because forget, past presidents being silent. No, he is speaking out. And over the weekend, he spoke out against President Trump on a number of issues, including coronavirus response and Michael Flynn. And this president, I've said it over and over again, he is the worst president in my lifetime. He's done more to hurt race relations than any president I know. He made the situation worse in the Middle East. He did nothing to help illegal immigration, to bring it down. And over again, his administration has been involved in corruption. I mean, billions to Iran, gun running in Mexico, you name it, Benghazi, it goes on and on and on. So, but he was out there, he was the one criticizing, and let's start with Michael Flynn, because Barack Obama decided to talk against that, the ruling that came down that we covered on Friday. The DOJ decided to drop its case against Michael Flynn. And why? Because new documents revealed that the FBI had no business talking to Michael Flynn. The FBI had determined that Michael Flynn had nothing to do with Russia collusion. There was no evidence on him, yet they had an interview on that topic. So there was no basis to have the interview. Instead, they tried to entrap him, get him on something else, just so they could bring down a Trump official. Here's a recap from Friday. Documents released last week raised questions about the government's case against him. Among the revelations were documents showing the FBI had no evidence Flynn had committed wrongdoing. Despite the lack of evidence, FBI officials went ahead with interviewing Flynn at the White House in January 2017. Flynn's statements during the meeting were the basis for his prosecution, but the Justice Department said Thursday in a court filing that there was no basis to conduct the interview. The Justice Department said the interview was untethered, unjustified, and conducted without any legitimate investigative basis. So that's why they threw it out. Yet Obama, on this phone call that was reported by Michael Isikoff for Yahoo News, he talks about it. He talks about this ruling, and he describes it this way.
That's the kind of stuff where you begin to get worried that basic, not just institutional norms, but our basic understanding of rule of law is at risk.
Our basic understanding of the rule of law is at risk. That's what Barack Obama said. This guy, Barack Obama, is the one that ordered all the surveillance. He was spying on political opponents. So in 2012, his IRS targeted conservative groups. In 2016, he sends the FBI to investigate the opposition party. It is absolutely stunning that this is going on. So then he moved from Michael Flynn to the handling of coronavirus. And here's what Barack Obama said. This election that's coming up on every level is so important because what we're going to be battling is not just a particular individual or political party. What we're fighting against is these long-term trends in which being selfish, being tribal, being divided, and seeing others as an enemy, that has become a stronger impulse in American life. And by the way, we're seeing that internationally as well. It's part of the reason why the response of this global crisis has been so anemic and spotty. It would have been bad even with the best of governments. It has been an absolute chaotic disaster when that mindset of what's in it for me and to heck with everybody else, when that mindset is operationalized in our government, That's why I, by the way, am going to be spending as much time as necessary and campaigning as hard as I can for Joe Biden. Can you imagine Barack Obama in charge of this? I mean, for one thing, he'd have the media on his side, so the public would probably be just all fine and dandy with whatever is going on, but the situation would be handled terribly. And again, he represents and mentions the international community. Give me a break, folks. America is here to lead. The international community looks to America to lead. And whenever we take a step back, like presidents like Barack Obama do, we always pay for it. That's why there was problems in the Middle East. That's why we give billions to Iran with nothing to show for it at all, except Iran getting worse. I mean, it's absolute total corruption. But President Trump didn't let it stand. He took to Twitter and fired back with this. We are getting great marks for the handling of the coronavirus pandemic, especially the very early ban on people from China, the infectious source entering the USA. Compare that to the Obama Sleepy Joe disaster known as H1N1 swine flu. Poor marks, bad polls, didn't have a clue. A few hours after that, President Trump got back on Twitter. He put out this, the biggest political crime in American history by far. And that was in reference to a tweet by Brian Sexton, who wrote this. If you read a news story about some European country where, after a fair election, the outgoing president used his last weeks in office to target incoming officials and sabotage the new administration, you'd be appalled. It happened here, and half the country thinks it's fine. So, and man, that really sums things up right there, what Obama did during his last weeks in office. Then the president did a series of retweets on pictures and memes and summed it up this way. Obamagate. And that's right. And hopefully, here's my hope for the President Trump's administration, is that there's more than just Obamagate memes being thrown out there. There's more than just a tweet every now and then. This is the worst political corruption in government that I've ever seen by a presidential administration. It needs to be investigated. People need to go to jail. Barack Obama ordered this. He knew about it all the time. Michael Flynn, you name it. These people were investigated because of Barack Obama, and this cover-up needs to be exposed, and people need to go to jail. So next, I want to get to China and German intelligence. But guess what, folks? Bottle Breacher is back. The coronavirus hit them. They had to shut down their factory for a while. But I'm proud to say my great partner, Bottle Breacher, is back. So please check them out. They have the very best American-made products, man gifts, groomsmen gifts, promotional items. Just go to bottlebreacher.com, use coupon code BOBBY13 for 15% off your next purchase. All right, so U.S. intelligence officials have said for months now that China downplayed this threat, that they could have acted sooner, but they put out misinformation to the public, to other nations, to the World Health Organization. Well, now German intelligence officials appear to be backing up those claims. And here's the report from the Daily Caller. Chinese leader Xi Jinping personally asked the World Health Organization to delay the release of critical information regarding its coronavirus outbreak, German intelligence has concluded. Xi met with WHO Director General Tedros Ghebreyesus on January 21st to request that he withhold information about human-to-human transition and delay the declaration of a global pandemic, according to German magazine Der Spiegel. The news comes amid rising sentiment that China should be held financially responsible for the pandemic. So the conclusions of the German intelligence service, which is known as BND, were quite direct. And it leads to this question, what could have been done? How much better could things have been if China had been forthright? That damage, who's going to pay for that? That's the things we need to know, and this is what German intelligence was looking into. The BND's verdict is harsh. At least 4, if not 6 weeks have been lost in Beijing's information policy in the fight against the virus, Der Spiegel reported. The developments from German intelligence caught the attention of U.S. politicians investigating China's handling of the coronavirus as well. We are still working to confirm this reporting, but if it turns out to be true, it's further proof Director General Tedros conspired with the Chinese Communist Party in their cover-up and is not fit to lead the WHO, said Texas Republican and chairman of the House China Task Force, Michael McCall. So here's the deal. China withhold this information, and it's been known right now that if they had just released it, if they had been forthright 3 weeks earlier, 95% of the spread would have been contained. It would have been mitigated by 95% of what we're seeing now if China had just acted, been responsive, been truthful 3 weeks earlier. That's what we're dealing with, folks. All right, next, I want to talk about what is going on around this country amid lockdown orders. And if you love the show, folks, please subscribe and please hit that bell so we can try and get to 100K by Election Day. Just hit that subscribe button. Give us a like as well. So now we're going to talk about lockdown orders because we're seeing something really chilling around this country. Really chilling because as state and local governments have locked things down, it's like the Constitution was just thrown out the window. It's like our rights have been discarded. Just discarded, completely ignored as if they don't even exist, as if they're granted to us by the government, and the government just decides to take it away. So now what we're seeing is government officials actually encouraging people to spy on each other. It's like Big Brother. Look out against your neighbor and report them to the state directive. It's absolutely crazy, and here's the report. Mayors and governors in some states most affected by the coronavirus have set up systems to allow Americans to discreetly report one another for breaking social distancing rules. The new policies are coming down across the country in both red and blue states. Democratic New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio set up a hotline for residents to snitch on each other in April. Meanwhile, Kansas City, Missouri is requiring churches to turn over membership lists and report anyone who shows up to attend services. So the pastor of Maryville Baptist Church in Kentucky, he responded to a similar order in his state by saying this.
I took a picture of my license plate on the back of my car and sent it to the governor yesterday.
I love it. But all joking aside, this is a serious matter, folks, because we have taken a problem in America and applied a totally un-American solution with these lockdowns. And we're seeing the results. We're seeing how power manifests itself so quickly, and our rights were thrown away almost instantly. And here's more. I'm running out of adjectives to describe how completely insane the tyrannical abuses launched by state governors and local officials against pastors and churches are becoming, Matt Staver of the Liberty Council said in a statement to the Todd Starnes show. It's as if these leaders never bothered to so much as glance at the Constitution they swore to uphold and defend. They seem to be governing for some make-believe dystopian viewpoint. So there's tons of examples out there, but I think the one that sums it up the best is from Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti, who said this.
If you've observed recurring violations of the Safer at Home order, please continue to let us know at coronavirus.lacity.org/business violation. You know the old expression about snitches? Well, in this case, snitches get rewards. We want to thank you for turning folks in and making sure we are all safe.
Snitches get rewards. Wow. This was said in America. This is what's being encouraged in the United States of America. Big Brother in action, being advocated, being embraced by government officials, and it's got to stop. We can't stand for that. We need to take a stand and fight back against stuff like this. So next, I want to talk about Joe Biden because we've got to bring in some politics. Politics is ongoing, and he held a virtual rally in Florida, and it was just a mess. He did this. There's birds chirping. There's loud noises when he's talking. It was just not well done at all. And of course, he babbles. He speaks nonsense, and here's part of it.
You know, I think about how much fear, how much loss, how much agony could have been avoided if President Trump hadn't wasted so much time getting started.
All right, hold on a second. President Trump was one of the first to act, but then he was criticized for it, right? All right, so let's let Joe Biden continue.
You know, we could have been bracing the public to act quickly in order to slow the spread. Instead, we got denials, delays, and distractions.
Wow, denials, delays, and distractions? All right, so props for alliteration, But accolades for accuracy? Not a chance. And I could go on, I could blast him for the things that he did, but I think it sums it up even better to go to our new White House press secretary, Kayleigh McEnany, because she went through the laundry list. You know, the Democrats and the media run lockstep. And as President Trump was acting, he's being criticized. Now they're saying he didn't act soon enough. Well, in her press conference last week, she just brought out the laundry list of headlines that the left-wing establishment media were doing as President Trump was acting. And here's McEnany.
Does Vox want to take back that they proclaimed that the coronavirus would not be a deadly pandemic? Does the Washington Post want to take back that they told Americans to get a grip, the flu is bigger than the coronavirus?
Okay, Sleepy Joe, who was actually delaying and denying, but she wasn't done there. She goes on.
Does the Washington Post likewise want to take back that our brains are causing us to exaggerate the threat of the coronavirus? Does the New York Times want to take back that fear of the virus may be spreading faster than the virus itself? Does NPR want to take back that the flu was a much bigger threat than the coronavirus? And finally, once again, the Washington Post, would they like to take back that the government should not respond aggressively to the coronavirus? I'll leave you with those questions, and maybe you'll have some answers in a few days.
So from the Washington Post, the government should not respond aggressively to coronavirus. That's what was said, in addition to those other news sources, those other media outlets on the left, downplaying, while the president was acting. And Joe Biden in this virtual town hall went on. He said so much more. We don't have time to cover it. But that really stands out is this ongoing criticism that President Trump didn't listen to medical experts. Okay? His whole task force is comprised of medical experts. When he brought the people together for these press briefings, you always heard from medical experts. That's how the guidelines are based for shutting down and reopening. It's medical expert after medical expert. And whether you agree or disagree with the whole approach, it's clear that he brought medical experts together to give advice and lay out this plan. And so when the left criticizes that, it makes absolutely no sense. So folks, that's our show for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe. And when you do, please hit that bell so you'll be notified. And we'll see you next time. I'm Bobby Eberle. This is a 13-minute news hour. Okay, friends, thanks so much for watching. And before you go, please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell so you'll be notified. And here's a special video just for you so you can watch even more of the 13-minute news hour. And don't forget to check out GOPUSA.com for the best in conservative news and commentary. We'll see you next time.